Hi there and welcome. This is McGuire. I hope you're having a great day. Today I am sharing a product release close-up for one of the companies that I look forward to seeing releases from the most, and that is Mama Elephant. This release does not disappoint in the least bit. It is wonderful. There are lots of stamps and dies in this collection. I'm going to walk you through them in this video, so hopefully it'll help you decide if any of these are ones that you need to add to your collection. First up is the oh so cute Woolly Winter stamp set. This is the one that I have sitting out that I want to use soon. I really like that sheep in the bottom that's all wrapped up in Christmas lights. I think that's adorable. And there is actually a stamp set I'm going to show you in a little bit that's a tree, and I'd love to team those up. I like that there are many different images on here. There are two sheep dressed up as reindeer that are reverses, these two here. So you could stamp them and glue them back to back and make like a spinner card out of them. I've done that with the reindeer before, and I'll link to that here. But you can see there are lots of tiny cute images that are perfect for making scenes with these little guys. There are coordinating dies available, which is really helpful with small images like this. Next, we have Pix's Happy Holiday. Now, they've done these little bunnies before, and these holiday versions are adorable. So you see on the bottom left there, look, it's a little angel, and she's holding like a banner. You could stamp a tiny little greeting in there. On one of the other stamp sets that they're releasing, they have the small words, to yours, and I plan to cut it so that it just says to you and stamp that in that little banner. I thought that would be a great way to use it. You can see the to yours there. I'll show you that stamp set in a moment. Also, there is a bunny doing a snow angel, that image towards the top center. And then there is the perfect light snowflake, that image there, that would be great to stamp repeatedly on a background. I like that it's super tiny little dots and stars, which makes for a nice background. And of course, there are coordinating dies available. And I like that the style of all these go together well. Now, this set is probably the most creative in this release. This door here has a coordinating die that you can get that cuts it so that the door opens like a door. So it doesn't cut the door off. It makes it just so that it's cut on three sides and then it's scored on the other. So you can put that on the front of your card and the person can open up the door and you can see little stamped images inside. There are many things in here that you can build together. You can create the door with the steps, with the doggy sitting on the steps and maybe the cat sitting on top of them. You can do the little tree and the pot. There's a sign you can hang on the door. They even put the little images in to create like little brickwork around the door. Now, what I want to do with this is I like making cards that hold gift cards. So I am going to make a card where you open up the door, and when you open up the door, there is a gift card behind it. So the end of the gift card is behind it, so you see that when you open the door. Thought that'd be fun on the front of a card. There are a lot of creative ways to use this and team this up with other sets you have. Another fun one to team up with others is the Merry Mantle. So you've got the nice mantle there and all these things you can put on it. You can hang things on the mantle. You can put the little candles or cookies on top of the mantle, the fire and the fireplace. There are little critters in here, but again, you could use some of the critters from the other set. So you can combine these to get more card ideas. And of course, there is a coordinating die available for this. Now, I will say, I think it'd be fun to use those Chibitronic like light up cards to make it look like that fire lights up when you press a button. So I'll link to a video where I used one of those, and maybe that's something that you can give a try. So here we have the City Sidewalk stamp set. This is a classic. You can stamp the little houses and create a city scene. And there's even the smoke that comes up from the chimneys that says Merry and Wishes. There are lots of cute little snowflakes, a tiny little snowman, and things that you can stamp around them too. There are even cute little string of Christmas lights that you can add to each of these houses. Now, I think it'd be fun to stamp one of these in like a gold heat embossing with the smoke coming up with the greeting and then a simple greeting underneath it, and then add some of that snow marker that when you heat it up, it gets puffy so it looks like there's snow on the roofs. You could also do like a very soft looking scene by white heat embossing this on vellum and then just putting it over colored cardstock. And there are the coordinating dies that are available. Now, this Oh Tiny Tree stamp set is another really clever one. So if you look closely, you'll see on 3 of these large images, there's a little plus sign, which helps you to line up the stamps when you're layering them together. So you have them that you can use separately or together. There's this tree on the bottom, and you can stamp the little pine needles that go on it by lining up those plus signs that you see there. It doesn't stamp the plus, that's just to help you figure out how to position it. Then at the top left, you have the Christmas lights that wrap around it too. So you can easily figure out how these go together, or you can stamp them separately. Then you can add little Christmas lights and ornaments to the tree with the small images that are included. This would be fun to maybe add one of those woolly winter sheep underneath it that's wrapped up in Christmas lights. So as I said, many of these will work well together. I really like it when Mama Elephant does floral images because their images are easy to color, which I need, and they're always classy. So this one would be beautiful to do just some very simple watercolor with red and green leaves. And what's beautiful about this set is, look, you can build the stem and leaves up so you have a tall image, or you can leave it short as is, or create a bouquet. I like that they include those options of building the stem up to make it taller. I think this would be beautiful with maybe some shimmer watercolor in those flowers, or you can paint them super soft with maybe a light watercolor or even some Copic coloring on vellum. There are coordinating dyes available too. Next, we have the retro holiday labels. I like that this is different than a lot of the holiday sentiments I've been seeing out there. This one you could do like just a simple gold glitter heat emboss on a piece of vellum, and then sew across the top the vellum to a family photo and use that as your holiday card. Very simple and elegant. Now, I do know that these fit into circle die cuts and square die cuts very nicely, which is great because not all sentiments do. And I'm going to show you a little bit later a die set that they have in this release that's perfectly sized to include these sentiments. So I'll come back to that soon. And of course, Mama Elephant always has a really classy and elegant script stamp set, and this Merry Christmas is gorgeous. Now, what is fantastic about this set is the supplemental sentiments underneath. Now, there are many great sentiments here. My favorite is, may you have the gift of faith, the blessings of hope, and the peace of his love at Christmas and always. That one just really hit home to me, but there are many others here too. Joy to the world, but most of all to you. Many different unique sentiments here that I haven't seen anywhere else. I encourage you to check those out because you might find one that would work great for your holiday cards too. I think you can go very simple with this one and do some heat embossing and then a soft wash of watercolor over it. Okay, along the same lines is the Just a Note stamp set. Now this one is not being released to stores just yet. You can only get it at Mama Elephant for spending a certain amount of money. On November 15th, it'll be available to buy. So I'll have more information about that on my blog. You can check that out. I like that there is a open here message with a little arrow, so you can use that with your interactive cards. Next, we have the home collection, these dies over here. I think they team up very well with the City Sidewalks stamp set. What I would like to do is foil some cardstock and then die cut the house from it, so maybe like a gold foil, green foil for those trees, and add those to a simple white card with one of the simple greetings from the stamp set underneath it. I think sometimes holiday cards are best when they're simple and elegant. Next, we have the birch tree dies. Now, these are all connected. I haven't cut them all apart yet, but you can use the birch trees to create like a shadow look in the back of your card, maybe behind some vellum. And what's nice is that they include a ton of small leaf and little bird dies with it, so you can die cut a bunch at once. And again, you can cut those leaves apart so that you can position them wherever you want. You could even make a fun shaker card where the only things you can see through are those little leaves and the trees. Now this Union Square die set is gorgeous. So it cuts this large 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 frame that you see here with the faux stitching and the scalped edge. Now there are a bunch of dies in here. You can cut them all apart so you can use them separately. So you want to be sure to cut those apart. Now if you look in the middle, there is a square tag. And there is also a square that cuts on 3 sides but scores on the 4th. So it makes a little flap. So you can make a tag with a little flap that opens to put on holiday gifts. Next we have the gable box. Now you can see the dies over there on the left. This cuts a box and then also some fun label shapes that you can include on it or make a window on your gable box. To make one of these, you need to die cut it twice from cardstock. and you put adhesive on the two flaps here, and then you just glue it into a square. Now this is a perfect little container to hold maybe a couple cookies or a few pieces of candy, a small stamp or a little gift, and it's very easy to assemble. It would be a good party favor. So once you have those sides put together, you can close the bottom however you want. I'm just kind of, I don't know what this is called, where you tuck the ends into each other to make it stay together. And then I take a little label that's I cut with one of the other dies in the set, and I glue it on the bottom to kind of create a base that holds it all together. But you could glue that together in different ways also, and you end up with this adorable little lunchbox that's easy to put together. You just want to make sure you press all your adhesive in place and the sides hook together, and there you have a fun little favor box. Again, there are other label dies included in the set that you can use to cut little windows or add labels on the side of the box. So there you have it, a look at the Mama Elephant release this month. I hope you like what you see here. I think there's some great products. I have them linked below in my YouTube description. You can also go to my blog for much more information, including a fun blog hop showing many ideas for using these products. In the middle are two other videos you might like. One shows using some cute Mama Elephant critters for making a bunch of cards, and the other shows using one of their large stamp sets for a simple card design. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you soon and have a great night.